Hello everyone, Daniel Kerr here. So yeah, as you all know, most of you know, I sold the ESX. It's on its way out the door. Somebody purchased it. I absolutely appreciate this person because they said, you go ahead and keep the unit for longer so that you can record the last videos and add more education to the pool. And I'm like, all right, sounds good. And it's going to be shipping out on Monday, right? So today's the 26th. It's the day after Christmas. And I basically decided to just show a little bit more of the techniques that I've learned that I haven't documented yet, right? So in the first part, this video is going to kind of stretch out a little bit. We're going to get into it in a second. I just want to explain a little bit. It kind of I'm not sure that the video is perfect, but I don't want to edit it. I want to leave it the way it is. So the first portion is to show you something that I've shown you before, actually, which was how to take a drum kit and use Start Point Automation to basically put an entire break into a chopped break into one drum slice. So you're using Slice Point Automation to isolate little hits out of a drum kit, and you can make a break in one track, right? So what I kind of learned was that if you take a multiple breaks and put them into one sample and you slice each one of those breaks apart, right? You're not slicing the breaks into their individual hits, you're just slicing the sections. You can actually use Slice Point Automation on single slices which contain entire breaks, and then you can skip back and forth between the breaks in real time. This is an interesting technique, and I don't know if I explained it well just now, but we're going to get into it. Okay, so here we are in the ESX. I want to show you some of the samples that we have going on here. First one is kit 16, so it's a drum kit that's sliced into 16 pieces. Next one, bass 16. It's a bass note, a bunch of bass notes sliced into 16 pieces. They're all tuned to C. Syn 8 is 8 synth notes sliced, also tuned to C. Glitch 16. Various glitches. Robo effects, which was a long sample. I've chopped it up arbitrarily. There are quite a few in there. And kit 5, which actually came from a huge collection of drum kits in the 74 kits pack, but this one's sliced to 8 pieces. Okay, first thing I want to do, let's go to the pattern. And I have some of these drum hits on here. I've got a bass from one of the bass slices and a synth. We're going to be writing in D minor. First thing I want to do is lay down some drums. So let's metronome's on. That's good. Okay, now we got a beat. Okay, on pad number 5, I've got that other kit, okay? And that pad 5 kit, I'm going to use motion sequence to modulate the start point and create a beat only on pad number 5. It's kind of like parameter locks in the Electron workflow. So let me see, we'll go to sample, kit number 5. These are the 8 slices. Okay, here's the thing. Any sample that you have in a sampler with MIDI, particularly the Korg ESX, because here we are, it doesn't matter the length of the sample. The sample is chopped up into 128 increments from 0, which is a value, to 127, okay? That means that any sample, including this one, it doesn't matter if it's 5 minutes long, it doesn't matter if it's 5 seconds or even 1 second long, the start point value is going to be 128, and it's going to scroll between values of 0 and 127, okay? And that's how it's going to determine the timing. Now what that means is, we have these slices. It means that this kick drum is at start point 0, right? We know that because it's the very first one. we know that that little rim shot is going to be at slice point 64, okay? Doesn't matter the length. This is a short sample. Listen. That rim shot is halfway through. That's going to be at point number 64. I can prove that by going to start point 64, and it'll start with the rim shot. Okay? If I go to 32, it's going to be that noisy snare clap thing, and I know that. If I go to 32, it starts with that, okay? 32. Okay. This one here, that first loud clap, that's going to be at 16. Right? This is, this guy here is going to be at 112. So if I go to 112, that's all we got. Okay, knowing this, we can go back to pattern. And where did I say that hi-hat was? Let's find a closed hi-hat. Okay, that's the closed hi-hat. That's the most common hit in a drum loop, in my opinion. So this is at 0. This is at 64. 64. 74. This is going to be at 80. This is going to be at 96. Okay, so if we go back to the pattern, we've got this sample of the kit. If I go to 96, start point, it starts with that hit. So what we want to do, we'll turn the start point all the way down, is we'll go to step edit, which gives us our motion sequence values, okay? It says there's no assignment because we haven't recorded any motion sequence. So we're going to hold shift and we're going to scroll to start point, okay? Start point. And then we're going to go down. So for here, we know that we want this to be a hi-hat. We're going to make it 96. You can hold down shift and it'll go faster. 96, okay? Okay. Over here, we'll turn trigger hold on, okay? And what's going on here? Oh, I recorded that whole thing in. Let's mute everything but our guy here, okay? So let's put that in. Okay, what we're gonna do is we're gonna copy this hi-hat all the way across the 16 notes of the first bar. Are we in one bar? Yes. Okay, so we're going to go to shift and pad 2. Okay, remember we set the motion sequence for this guy. It's going to be a hi-hat. It says move, shift and pad 2, move data. We're going to scroll to repeat data. Yes. 0.01 is one note. We're only going to repeat one note, that first note, all the way through the one bar. If it was set to 8 bars, it would repeat it through 8 bars. Doesn't matter. Let's do it. And there it is. Let's listen. Hi-hats, okay? Now at this point I want to change the gate from the envelope generator from gate to envelope. So it has a release. Turn that all the way up. And we can dial that back depending on what we're doing. But what we're going to do, in fact, we're going to dial it back till we can hear it, and we're going to get rid of some of these notes. Okay. Now we're going to change some of the motion sequence values to match some of the other hits. All right. We know that we want the kick drum right here on number 1. So let's go back to step edit, down. Let's change that from 96, which is a hi-hat, back to 0, which is the kick drum. And let's put a snare here on number 9, which is that first snare was at 16. Let's change 13, this note, to the open hi-hat, which was at 112. Okay, sounds pretty good. Let's write that. Now, one thing that I like to do, if you notice, these snares, I have them set to effects 1, which is the compressor. If on the same one that we got going on over here, we want the just the snare going to the compressor, then what we got to do is go back to Step Edit, scroll up to where Motion Destinations start. We want to go to, hold down Shift, Effects Send. Yes, we will send this guy here on, to send to effects. And in order for this to work properly, the next hit, this guy here, we're going to need that to go to off. Okay, so that it's only for the snare. Okay, watch. Okay, I like that. I want the kick to be a little louder, so let's go to kick, and let's go to effects send, let's go to a level, and we'll turn that level all the way up. It's not that pronounced. Maybe we'll change the pitch of it a little. Let's go to pitch. Okay, we want this pitch to be back to 0 or back to normal. Let's change the pitch of the snare a little bit. Once it goes here, the next note we got to go back to normal. Hope this is all making sense. Let's write this. Let's bring those other drums in. Okay, this hat, let's make that one, let's make it roll. Let's change the pitch of that guy over time. Okay, beautiful. So we've already learned some stuff. Now, if I solo this guy, how about, and this is going to be experimental because as we know, this sample only has 8 hits and the other drum kit has 16 hits. Let's write this to number 1. And let's change the sample here to kit 16 and listen. Interesting. Let's try basses. That's pretty interesting. Let's write that to number 2. Now, if you remember, we go back to sample. What we did was we have all of these. It doesn't matter what the length of the sample is, from a fraction of a second to 5 minutes. Start Point is split into 128 increments from 0 to 127. Here is an interesting thing. If I set up this template like I did before, okay, and instead of using a full sample full of hits, if I were to go to one of the slices, it would take just that slice and the start point would be split into 128 increments. So all of this will just control the timing of one slice. Different slice. Beautiful. Right? So what we're going to do, let's resample. Let's start in number 1. And let's resample, okay? Mono, yep. And let's sample both of those riffs at one time. Watch. Okay, notice I grabbed that kick from that we didn't really need. That's how we're going to adjust timing. Let's go to sample. That kick we need to get rid of to make it properly trimmed. So we'll go to new sample, and we will we'll go to new sample, and we will scroll down to start. Whenever you resample, you want to hold shift and shave off one increment so that there's no blank space at the beginning. It gives you a tiny bit. Now at the end, and we need to cut off that kick drum. Instead of having to listen to the entire sample every time we make an edit, we're going to use the start point here and go all the way almost to the end. And we need to shave off that last kick drum and the little hi-hat after. So we're going to hold down shift and scroll backwards while auditioning. Almost there. Okay, now that's completely shaved off, so we have a perfectly trimmed sample. Listen. Okay, so we're going to hit truncate, shift and pad 12 to cut off the extra time that we didn't need, and we're going to save that to number 7. Okay, now let's go back, and in here, let's put in our new sample, which is, oh, actually, let's go back to number 7, which is the one we just made, and let's shift and time slice, but we're only going to slice it into, it says 32 beats, that's correct, but we're only going to slice it into 2 slices. So let's get rid of all of these. You can hold down shift and add and remove slice points, and the next one, we'll get rid of all of these. Yes, so now we have the second part, or the first part, and the second part. Okay, and let's write that. Then let's go back to the pattern, and let's go to number 7, and go to just slice. Didn't I just slice that piece? I know I did. Right, okay. Number 7, slice 1. Okay, now listen. That's interesting. Oh, I know why. What's interesting about it is that it's not the same as kit number 5, where this is our hi-hat. Now it has the open hi-hat there. So what we'll do is we'll go and we'll shorten it. Change slices. What I'm doing, by the way, is let's add this thing to effects number 2, which we will make chorus and flange. And how we're going to do that, because if you remember, we added some of the stuff to the effects send already. And we're going to change that by engaging record. And we're going to turn effects on, and we'll just leave it on. Okay, so now it's overwritten. And what I'm doing over here is I'm using this arpeggiator to trigger off new pieces. So another thing I can do is here I'll mess with the start point, because the start point is set for all of these using motion sequence, so it's not going to mess up the beat. Listen. Oh, I don't need to turn on record. You know what else I can do? It's over here we can add pitch modulation. We will set it to BPM sync and to random or sample and hold. We'll set it to 1/4 speed and turn the depth up. And we can mess with the slices. Let's change this guy to ring modulation. Decimator, reverb, short delay, let's record some, let's write this to number 1. And let's set it to slice number 2 and write it to number 2. And now down here at the pattern set, well, let's see. If we hold down pattern set in number 1, it goes to number 1. Pattern set 2 will set to number 2. And then we'll write that pattern set. Yep. And then we will shift pattern set and hold the first 2 so that it bounces back and forth. Okay, now I told you, let's write this to number 3 this time. And let's get rid of all of our data here. We're going to clear part. You know what? I like these drums. I'm not going to clear those. I'm going to clear part for what we just did. Okay? What happened here? Clear part. Okay. This time I'm going to change the length to 4, right? And we're going to write it. Now in the samples, knowing what I just showed you, you can take a sample like this one and you can see where everything's split up, and knowing that it is 128 increments, you know that you can go back to the sequencer and you can motion sequence start value to chop up different hits. Now you also know that once it's sliced, you can use that 128 increments of the start point value to modulate different areas of each slice. And so in that spirit, if we go forward, I have 4 bars, 4-bar loops of breaks, 4 bars, and another break, watch. And another break. And another break. And they're all 4 bars. And if you look down here, the first one is in slice number 1. I've sliced them into just those 4 increments. Next one. Next one. Next one. Okay? Same thing. I've got some synth arpeggios. 4 bars. 4 synth arpeggios, 4 bars each. Listen. First one, second one, third one, fourth one. Those are in D minor. I have some bass lines. All right? Now, let's go back to here. In 4, 5, and 6, okay, I'm going to get rid of that hi-hat. And this guy here, I'm going to take away from effects end. I'm going to put those 3 things that we have going. Breaks, bass, synth. In fact, I'm going to go breaks, bass, synth. So I'm going to put the synth at number 5. So in number 4, let's put in eight note. Every 8 notes we're going to put in a trigger, okay? And that first one is going to be step edit, no assignment. We'll go to start and we'll make that one, the first one is at 0, okay? Now there's 4 of them. We know that the next one's going to be 32. Well, okay, let's do it in order. In the first bar, we have 0. Let's put this one at 16. Next one, we have at 32. Plus 16 is 48. Next one's at 48. Okay. Next one's at 64. Next one's at 80, right? I think I'm right. Next one's at 96. I think. I hope this is right. And the last one should be at 112. Okay. Turn on the trigger hold. Okay. Motion sequence. Let's go to the sample and let's make this, well, that's going to be breaks. Let's start with the breaks. Let's listen. Oh, okay. Slice 1. Very good. Slice 2. Slice 3. Slice 4. Okay, let's write this on number 3. Now, let's go to number 5 and let's shift pad 3, which is copy part. We're going to copy it from number 4. Yes. We're going to go to shift pad 6. We're going to copy part from number 5, and the answer is yes. Now, in the 5, we're going to go to, from breaks, we're going to change it to synth, right? And it's at slice number 4. Let's make it to number 3. And over here we've got, we're going to change that to the basses, and it's in slice number 4. Let's make it to slice number 2, which is actually pretty loud. Let's solo. Let's mute everything but these 3. Now listen. Okay, that's too loud. Let's set these. That's pretty quiet. Okay, let's bring the drums in. Send it to the compressor. Let's change the. Okay, sounds good. Let's bring the bass in. some flange to the bass. Let's send the synths to reverb. You know what else? Let's widen the synths by modulating pan. Notice, remember this. Try a different slice. Just pitched the synth part all the way down. That's kind of pretty. Different slice. Let's add some bass parts. Oops. That's one bar. Let's wait for that. So I just put a few notes of this bass in. We can go shift, move data, change it to repeat. Yes, right now it's set to one note. Shift and go to one bar and one note. And let go of shift and go backwards. Yes, now watch. Let's change the slice. Oh yeah, there we go. interesting stuff right there. All right, so there you have it. I've got 2 more ESX videos coming. Basically, one is going to explain what I would like to see in an Electribe 3 as compared to the ESX and possibly the EMX. Actually, it could take the place of both of them and replace them because our technology is 20 years greater. And then the other video is going to be about who I think are the best content creators for the Electribe so far, particularly the ESX. I'll probably mention a couple EMX users as well, and maybe some Electribe sampler, some of the new ES and ES2 users, etc. Anyway, I love you guys. The journey with the ESX has been amazing, and I don't know if it's completely closed, but it does feel pretty final. I just purchased an MC101 that I want to pair with my Akai Force, at least until my own designed unit is in production. I do have a working unit right now that has staggering features, but the one inside of the machined box is just going to be incredible, and I can't wait to show it to you guys. SnowMetalUniversity@gmail.com if you want to send me a message for any reason. I would love to know in the comments what gear you are using. Any kind of hardware gear or software, just let me know. Just put a comment below saying what you use, and that way maybe I can try to create content for you in the future. Anyway, Christmas was amazing. It didn't feel like Christmas. Getting close to Christmas, it didn't feel Christmassy, but I was spending so much time with my friends and my family, my loved ones, that I couldn't complain. And then on Christmas Eve, it just kind of snuck up on me and all the holiday feels. It was amazing. I love you guys. Be blessed.